Mhm.
And after rook d4, suddenly I realized that if I lose a tempo with my king, I'm losing.
Yeah.
And then I found this move, which is
Only,
perfect. Oh, it's
yeah.
really brilliant. I mean, I was
Must
very
have been
proud of this
very
once I
happy
saw it.
at that moment.
And then I thought I'd blundered rook b4. Uh,
Welcome, Viswanathan. Take a seat.
yeah,
Thank you very much for joining us.
sure.
So I hear you want to present your game from Friday, right?
Can look at that.
So is that your plan, or would you like to talk about something else?
No, it's up to you. If you want me to show that game, I can show that.
Yeah, was it
Otherwise, maybe
interesting?
the
Was it
game from yesterday was also quite interesting.
whatever you
So which one do you
prefer?
want?
Your choice. Okay, let's start
Tell me,
with
yeah.
your game against Abasov, who's exerting some pressure against Hikaru today. So, yeah, you won. Congratulations there. If you want, you can just use the mouse and take us through.
Okay.
Just
So I
you
have to
can
keep
just click
pressing
here,
that.
yeah.
Um, so to be honest, I had spent more time preparing for Motilov. I kind of assumed that Nijat, I wasn't sure that he would come here.
Mhm.
So I think, and then at the last minute, uh, I had to do some work here because B6 is quite a topical move now.
Mhm.
And I noticed that the computer suggested bishop e2. And the point is that somewhere I can go bishop f3. I'll show you in a second.
Okay.
And so I got this. Now, if you take, I take, and then the next move, the point,
Yes.
I go to f3.
Mhm.
So he went bishop e7. I took at c4, take the queen. And then we got a very dynamic position. I mean, he can play passively, bishop e7, knight d7. So like that, and just defend this pawn.
Mhm.
But he decided to go for something a bit more forcing.
Yes.
I mean, I even have bishop d1. So I think probably I've got quite a good position with some chances to play for something. But then I liked what I did. Knight a bishop f3 first,
Mhm.
and then knight a4. And the idea was that I would play rook e2,
Okay.
and if he goes d3,
Yeah.
then rook e5 is almost winning.
Wow.
So that's the point, because if he goes d2, I actually take the bishop and the square is covered.
Yes.
Uh, he went
If he
bishop
retreats the
d7.
bishop, if he retreats the bishop, then his pawn is just too weak after rook
Yes,
e5.
then I come back and I bring the bishop out. The bishop comes out afterwards like this, and
Mhm.
so on. So, sorry, he
Bishop
went
d7.
bishop d7. Now it's all fairly forced. I go knight c5. He went rook c7. I went rook e5. Later on, the computer showed a few brilliant lines. Went knight b3
And
and bishop b4. And here I was obsessed with the move c5.
Mhm.
But it's sometimes a bit difficult to see that the square which was occupied by the black bishop is now
Oh
free.
yeah.
And after b4, I think I'm almost winning here.
Mhm.
So that was quite an early miss. Then we got some kind of. So instead, I went rook e5,
Mhm.
and the game got very messy.
Yes.
Bishop a3 is quite strong. I went here, and then I did this. And maybe the important detail here was he, in fact, seems to have enough play here, just about. It looks like I can put the knight on e5, but now if he plays king d6,
Mhm.
I mean, after this, I went rook a7. So the idea is to keep an eye on his thing.
Mhm.
G5 was a mistake, and I'll show you why. Because if he had played, I think e5 is plausible, or king d6 is probably plausible to
Mhm.
play e5 somewhere. He went g5, so I went h3. And now after king d6, I can go b4. And the problem for him is that if when he plays e5, I go rook a6 check, and he has to go back to defend the knight.
Mhm.
And this turned out to be just a very big mistake.
Wow, okay.
Uh,
Very subtle.
yeah, it's quite subtle. In fact, I didn't even fully appreciate it till later when I saw rook a. And here I could have started with rook a6. Even here, I could play rook a6 and b5, and then it's over. but I did this, and even here rook a6. But I did this, and suddenly
Oh no,
the square which is not available is available. Luckily, I have f3. Excuse me.
weaving some kind of mating net.
Well, forcing him to make a decision with his pawn. He went g3, and then very fine move, which I'm quite proud of. Bishop
Okay.
f1.
I
Because
want
now,
to e2 with a knight.
yes, first of all, I want to do that. Sorry,
Mhm.
I want to come there to that square. Sorry,
Mhm.
and then
Collect the
take
nail
this
in the
pawn.
coffin. Mhm.
And on top of that, rook e1 is a big threat because I'm going to mate him.
Yeah.
So also nice. And I think he's in a critical position already. He went knight h5. Um, I'm not sure about this decision, but it seems to be very good. He went, and now the only thing I have to do is knight a6.
Wow.
So he has to defend this guy. He goes d5. In fact, I regret that I missed this move, which is very pretty.
Going on here? Oh, bishop b3.
Yes, and it's just mate. Bishop d3 check.
Mhm.
If king comes here, then check
Very nice.
and check. It's a very pretty make.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
So
okay,
he
it's a
was
pity to miss knight c7. It really is because I went the
b6
slower
so
way. So fine. I mean, everything is very, but and then I went knight c5, and now I
Which
get the same thing.
would you have had the same opportunity with b7, deflecting the rook from the third rank?
Yes, but I kind of the thing is somewhere he plays rook e3, knight f4, and maybe there's a rook e1 coming.
Okay.
Maybe I'm seeing ghosts, but I wanted to just clinch it and not any more adventures.
Mhm.
So I took b7, first lock that guy.
Yeah.
a5, so I'm threatening a6. He goes knight f4, threatening e2,
Mhm.
and now simply knight e4. And I'm threatening mate here,
Oh yeah.
but I'm also threatening capturing here with check. So if he takes the knight back, then a6, there is no e2, and so it turned out to be a nice win. I mean, probably by now he has improved here somewhere,
Mhm.
but it was a nice win to start with.
Yes, very pretty chaotic position, but you
Yeah.
kept your cool and converted. Very nice. So right now, Nijat is trying to take revenge, not on you, but on Hikaru. Let's hope that doesn't happen. What do you think about their position? I can get your opinion. Is it enough compensation at this point? Let me just
Okay, look,
pop it
it's
up.
a whole pawn. It's a whole pawn. I think you have to go to today's round somehow.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Mm.
Okay, that's your game.
Yeah,
Here they are.
yeah. Yeah, so the current position is here. I would guess that if I go queen e2 or something, black should just take this. Even at this pawn is a bit weak for
Mhm.
sure, but at least I've got the dark squares nails. So maybe white should consider knight d4.
Mhm.
Simply saying take on g2, please,
Then come back with the
and
knight.
take, and I will play with my extra pawn.
Huh?
I don't have to go there. I can go to h4. I can go to e1. I can go to many squares.
Mhm.
But the idea is to trade bishops, keep the extra pawn.
Mhm.
Black has very good structural compensation, but a pawn is a pawn.
Yeah.
So some chances for Nijat here.
White is up a pawn, and also there's an isolated pawn on e6.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
So there is this weakness here, which compensates for the structural deficiencies here. Clearly, there's a big square here, but Hikaru is a very tenacious defender, so
Absolutely.
it'll no doubt not be easy.
Yeah. I'm just wondering why the bar is not too happy here for white. I would expect a bigger advantage, but it was quite
Well,
happy
let's see
before.
if I here it's dropped
Mhm.
a fraction of
Maybe you
a.
have to go the other direction to h4.
Okay, let's try knight h4. No, it's dropping even more than 91.
Yeah, but it's not always
90,
reliable. It's
yeah,
that
maybe the computer just wants to do. Well, queen e2 doesn't make sense. Maybe it just wants to do b3. Oh, sorry, that's
there's
a
knight b3.
mouse. No, it's a mouse slip. Maybe just b3, and the computer seems to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a move that increases it, but that's not likely. So after b3, then the computer is. The thing is, white still has this possibility to put the bishop on. Sorry, I'm clicking every wrong square.
Don't worry.
There's still a possibility to go to this square and sit there, and then the black king has going to have problems.
Mhm.
So that could be something. But I would, with black, I would immediately take and try to take a fortress on the dark squares. After which, technical conversion is not at all easy again.
Mhm.
So there we are.
Okay. Very interesting. Okay. Would you like to show us your today's game? Was it exciting?
Not particularly. It was, I mean, it's it happens sometimes on Sunday mornings. You get the wrong position, you have no idea what to do, and you're
Yeah.
just too sleepy.
Yeah.
So
That
it's
seems to be a common
a
phenomenon.
typical Bundesliga Sunday morning
Yeah.
festivals.
I've heard rumors that that's the reason Magnus not playing in the league anymore because of the Sunday rounds at 10 o'clock are just early.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could well be.
So how about the game against Hikaru? You defended very well. It was like the engine bar was always very level, but it seemed
But
very
it's
difficult in
yeah,
practice.
it's not at all easy in practice.
Yeah.
I mean, where is the game?
Yeah. There, now you can scroll down and there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rook F1 was super important to find.
Yes, I was very proud of that.
Yeah.
How do we? We just go back all the
like here. It's like,
So, I mean, to be honest, here I don't think anything is happening really.
yeah.
Knight
Were you
C5.
surprised by his opening choice?
No, he's done this against Fabiano already.
Yes.
So Rook B8, B3, and here I was over finessing it. Um, I mean, I did this. He went knight E2. I could just take on F4. He takes. He has to take with the queen because he takes with the knight. I do this. Sorry. And I thought I'm doubling his pawns, but there's a little trick.
Oh, that should be said.
It's not much of a trick. I think I would still do it even with this doubling pawns.
Yeah. Aren't you even getting H3 back?
I get H3 back even.
There's no mate on the H file yet.
Well, you can't get to H1 very quickly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even matter. I can just play C5 and C4 and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, a little bit more precise play, and I wouldn't have needed all those miracles I've had to do
You want to
later.
click on the moves?
Yeah. So
Okay.
instead, I started to. I mean, if he takes with the queen, I take, and now I play A5 and liquidate the pawns on the queen side, and it should be just a fairly simple draw.
Yes.
But of course, why make an easy draw if you can suffer? So I did this instead, and then after C4, maybe objectively it's okay. Again, the problem is the computer doesn't react. But for me, tactically, there were some problems to resolve. So I decided to force the endgame.
Did you foresee the double rook endgame at this point?
That was the whole point of this thing. He takes, he goes here. Now, very important to do this.
Yes.
So takes. Okay. And this move is nice because I want to seal it on H4.
Yeah. We're expecting G6 as mortals, but
Yes.
H5 seems much more precise.
There's probably no difference because he will anyway try to gain as much time as possible. But I could have played, let's say, G6 here.
Yeah.
And
Rook
after Rook D8, then my king is already in a better place. It's on G7, not H7.
Yes.
Which is nice because when I do this,
Okay.
and maybe I have to play F5 G4 somewhere.
Yes. You have to go for active counterplay.
Correct. Which I did anyway. But here, oh, sorry, we're in a variation. Okay,
It's
so we
easier
have
to
to go
navigate.
back.
Maybe if you click on game, you can see all the moves.
Okay. So instead, we ended up with the king on H7. And here, he was also surprised. And to be honest, I didn't play this with a very great deal of enthusiasm because there's also a thing. But I figured that I should be able to draw this because of H3 and then take this pawn. But I missed something. After A4, I first thought it's fairly trivial. But you start to see ghosts.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to do this and harass his king till it went back. And then play F5, A4, rook E4, A5, and then something like F4. All the time, I'm cutting the king off.
Yes.
And if he goes A6, then I go here. So, it is lost now. Oh, because there's a check. So something like this, but for instance, here, instead of F4, maybe I should go rook E6 or something. Or maybe advance the king a little bit. And that also, it doesn't like it very much. Why does it see? Oh, the same problem. A7
And rook
here,
D6.
and then rook D6 check. Okay, so it's a complicated fortress.
You're up there.
Yeah. Then I saw rook f1 and I thought same effect.
Hmm.
A4, I go rook a1. And now that his king is no longer near uh, the rook,
Hmm.
in the sense that it can't stop anything here.
Hikaru told
I
us
go
that he was
f5.
debating between king b5 and king b4 here to
Hmm.
have the option to build the
I
bridge.
don't know that king b4 helps very much because my whole point is that my point is now the king is further away from this
Yeah,
square, so I play f5
go into the pawn endgame.
and I can go into the pawn game. Exactly. But he went to f5,
Mhm.
and after rook d4, suddenly I realized that if I lose a tempo with my king, I'm losing.
Yeah,
And then I found this move, which is
Totally.
perfect. Oh, it's
Yeah.
really brilliant. I mean, I was
must
very
have been
proud of this
very
once I
happy
saw it.
at that moment.
And then I thought I'd blundered rook b4. And instead of rook b3, I suddenly saw rook b2. And there's also a version with rook on a2.
Hmm.
And here is very important I do this and actually do this and challenge the rook because it's important the pawn gets here.
Mhm.
So now I'm threatening rook e1.
Yeah.
So if he goes here, the important thing now to remember is I don't care. I can go here and then I go here.
Mhm.
I check. I mean, I can keep on harassing him till he locks himself up. And once he's locked himself up, there is no threat anymore.
Yeah.
So that's the essential idea I had to find. And then very important to do this a6, king g5. So you can ask yourself what is wrong with king f5. The problem
Yeah.
is a7,
The check.
rook a1. It's not even just the check. It's that the rook can still defend the pawn from there.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing left to do accurately. And here it's just a draw.
Hmm.
So quite a relief to save this game. I mean, it's a pity to throw away. I mean, he didn't really get an advantage or anything out of the
Yeah.
opening, and I don't think I deserve to lose this. I'm happy I saved it.
Agreed. So, how are the team spirits after yesterday's match?
Obviously, not the result we were hoping for, and it's a bit of a blow um, because now the championship is essentially gone. But that's how it is.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for demonstrating us your games and your deep ideas. You also answered some questions in the interview.
Mhm.
I don't want to repeat anything that you already answered.
Sure.
So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Unless you want to stay here and you see some interesting game that you'd like to discuss, otherwise I'll let you go
Yeah,
because your
I
time
think
is
I
very
will.
valuable.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay, thank
Thanks.
you very much,
Good.
Hashi.
Sure.
Thanks.